Hello and good evening and welcome to Premier Division. We're here in Singapore and I am joined by my glamorous assistant, the amazing, the impressive, the brilliant. It is Kieran on the back of a
Hello,
fourth position last night. Hi Kieran, how are you?
doing great. Excited to watch Singapore. Expecting lots of safety cars. Maybe from Becca.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, it's been mental races here so far this week. We've had very changeable conditions. You had a storm towards the end of your race last night, which you handled very nicely. Um, and yeah, we had rain in first division, and we've had quite a few safety cars. I think you had more safety cars last night than we did, but
I think we had like three or four.
yeah, if Nelson PK Jr. is watching, he'll be loving that fact. I've heard he quite likes a safety car around here. Um, now, as your inorganic son, let's go for an early prediction, Mr. Kieran.
Oh god, okay. So I'm gonna go with Colin first.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. It's Davey. Oh yeah, Davey second, and Glassy third.
Davey second, Glassy third. Well, that's a pretty solid prediction with how the season's been going so far. Um, uh, Davey has been looking very quick. Colin's a bit of a out there pick. I'm not sure I've ever seen Colin have a good race. Uh, yeah, and
Like,
Glassy's moving in the right direction, isn't he?
yeah, yeah. No, with no Higgsy this race and
Yes,
last race.
of
I've been
course,
making
yeah.
up the points for him.
Yeah,
Lots
and
of points in all gears.
Higgsy, I do believe, is out in New York, so if he tunes in, nice to see you tonight, Higgsy. If you're not there, then I've just wasted a little bit of my energy. Um, yeah, I think those are good predictions. I would love to hear what Inorganic's got to say as well.
Sure, he's typing in chat right now.
I do hope so, because we know how chaotic Singapore has been so far. I think an inorganic prediction would just make it that little bit more chaotic. Because that's the way things work at RPM, isn't it? If everything's happening normal, inorganic says something and the opposite will happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and how did you find it here yesterday then, Kieran?
Um, well, I know in practice for Singapore when I was practicing for it, I struggled on the hards, but I think I made some suspension changes and felt a lot better. But I mean, apart from the beginning where I had damaged wings, and then a safety car came out, and then another safety car came out, and then another safety car came out. It's just mostly a safety car, and then rain.
Yeah, and the rain looked really heavy. I was watching behind on stream when they were on board, and that's a good lap so far from Andrew 38.4. Yeah, the spray was really quite heavy, and I can imagine really hard to see your braking points.
Yeah, I didn't really know where to brake in rain, as I didn't do wet practice. I don't really think my setup changed from 50-50 wings, anyways. But I know on the safety car, when it was raining, it was very hard to warm up the tyres. They were going cold by the safety car restart, which was not fun.
Yes, that's
So
something they'll have to beware of tonight. And Karting, who did seem to have good pace in your race last night, a few unfortunate moments, he's put himself in fourth with a 38.1. So Andrew will need to find some time. Seeing Glassy putting a good time on the board, but Volcano equally as good. And Colin, surprise, surprise, as not such a surprise, backwards over the line, back to backer, and uh, he's not actually, has he reached the line? He's in a bit of a, oh, yeah, well, I've stayed on board with him the whole time. He's probably going to shout at me later for that. if I had Luke's salary, maybe I would have got off him, but I'm not getting paid enough as Luke. So, as Inorganic will know, Luke, the most expensive commentator in F1 history. Yeah, so it's early doors, back with a 156, which I do believe is a completely representative time from him. And it's all forming. It's kind of your usual suspects. Davey, Glassy, Volcano, second, third and fourth. I'm interested to see what Quinn and Luke can do. I know Luke says he's been struggling here, but we'll go on board with him now. And I'm also seeing Inorganic in chat saying, "Hi, Mr. Jones, and to your sidekick, Kieran. My prediction, Colin, Volcano and Glassy." So very, very similar to what you went. He just thinks Volcano instead of Davey. I think that's a solid prediction as well.
Prediction up.
I'm just looking at something here, Kieran, and I don't know if Inorganic's been the most original here. I'm seeing Colin, Volcano and Glassy in third, second and third. I think he's gone for the lazy approach there. Looked at the top of the leaderboard and said it'll be them three.
Well, we can probably expect Volcano and Glassy to crash out.
I will make a slight prediction. My driver to watch tonight is the Aston Martin of Maggot. He's now in second in the championship, and he's just been getting solid points. And I haven't really noticed him kind of making his way up there, but he's doing very well at the moment. On board with his teammate right now, Zabiaka, as he's going to complete his first flying lap. Runs a little bit wide, can take a bit more curb on the left there, but a 144, yeah, he's got a lot of time to find. Inorganic saying Luke has been taking my bonus. Well, whose bonus hasn't he been taken? It's me and Kieran don't get paid for this because of Luke.
Are we going to go on strike?
We might need to go on strike. Moneybags Luke might need to share that money out a little bit. Colin also saying, "Sorry Jones, I've been busy on another game that we will not name. Let's just say I'm a little rusty." Absolutely brilliant, Colin. I'm imagining some of you won't understand that, but it sounds like Colin's a little rusty, and you can see it with his time being 9/10 clear of everyone. And Inorganic saying, "No, he deliberately missed Davey." Oh, as karting is disqualified. That's not great for him. Blocking a pit lane. That happened to a few people in First Division. Yeah, Inorganic not wanting to curse his team, which is probably a sensible choice. I'm now on board with Giraffe, and I did tell you a fact about Giraffe before the start of the race, Kieran. Would you like to embellish that to the viewers? If you can remember it.
I can't remember it, actually.
Giraffe, who we're on board with here, has the highest DNF percentage.
Oh, yes.
In
I
Premier
remember
Division.
now. I remember because I said he was back at highest
Yeah.
DNF percentage.
It's just like the automatic reflex response of DNF.
Yeah.
Driver, well, must be Backer. Yeah, well, he's Backer. Where is he now? He's still 11th with that time where he was reversing over the line. So he'll be hoping for a decent result tonight, but I know he's struggling around here as well. I don't know how you find it, but a few drivers saying where they used to like it more so, it's much tougher with no line, I think, because it is very twisty and technical.
I think I didn't really find places more difficult compared to others. I think I found it quite easy to find braking zones, but I know like circuits like Canada, I've done race there with no line, and the braking meter boards are just impossible to see. So I have no idea how I'm going to do there when we race. But,
yeah, it's lucky you're not in a division with entity, because if there's braking boards, they tend to disappear pretty quickly. Giraffe with the Williams actually in 8th and 9th. Not too bad for them. Now 9th and 10th. Is it Lost Glader that's just put himself into 5th? A very handy time actually. Is Lost Glader? He's already also in your division, right?
Yeah, he is. He did cause a safety car, which I think his DNF put me up into 4th. So Not really sure. I should be saying thanks for crashing out, but
So you're a massive fan of Lost Glader, I can ascertain from that one.
yeah. If he just crashes out and gives me a podium, I'll like him even more.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to actually get on board with Colin as he's about to cross the line and see if he can go quicker. Or is... I think... No, he must be just starting his flying lap now. So we'll go on board with Colin. And watch what a lot of people say, the master at work. I'd like to remind people, I taught him how to do this. I showed him all the walls you shouldn't be hitting, and he just drove it properly after. And he is up on this time so far, so he'll be looking to get that down to the mid 136s. And he'll just try and kiss the curb here. Yeah, don't get too much, it'll unsettle the car. Now, from what I've been told by Colin, take a lot of curb here. As you can see, he does. Get it tucked in, avoid the curb on the right. And then use the runoff to the right here to tuck it towards the left, which he does nicely. And we'll get that DRS open. You could tell I've been in a party with Colin this week, because I actually know where the track's going and what he's doing.
Bakker's gone up to 6th.
And yeah, great spot there. So Bakker, I think he's been sandbagging in the chat because he seems to have some pace. And Colin, lovely through there, just kissing the curbs. Now we'll get this chucked in here. Again, using the curb to turn him round onto the throttle now. Just 2 corners left, and I think we are going to see a very, very impressive time here from Colin. Uses all of the road perfectly, and he'll throw it in and use as much curb as he can. DRS open, and it's a 1:36.3. I don't think we'll see that beaten. Glassy improved with 1:37.2. Brilliant time from him. Unfortunately, we missed that one, or I missed that one. Davey now finishing his lap. Andrew saying, I don't think Davey has ever finished a street circuit. He just loves walls. Oh no, that doesn't sound good for you, Inorganic. Inorganic saying, I normally have 100% faith in Bakker, but I can't see him finishing. Sorry, Bakker's getting a lot of flack early on tonight.
I want to see Bakker win now.
I mean, you'd love to see. I'd like to see Maggot, but that's because I'm an Aston Martin driver. I'd like to see Luke have a good race as well, as our fellow commentator. A lot of people on invalidated laps or not official laps here. Dragos looks like he's on one. And he hasn't set a time yet, so this will just put him somewhere at least. Andrew saying back at the grid. Brilliant. Love it. James, hello Captain Jones. Oh, this is Spritzy. Hello Captain Jones. Kieran doing an awesome job on comms with Chief. Loving the trivia, by the way. Well, we have discussed the trivia. I've been sending Kieran messages on Discord today. We have had Glassy. We'd like to say overstep the mark into our world of trivia this week, but we will be bringing you some.
It's because last week when I did First Division, I brought in trivia, and so all the viewers came in Tuesday expecting more trivia.
Yeah, and as anyone who's tuned into Premier Division enough, and Kieran's now been on with me for a few weeks, I know Kieran had a toilet paper fact. I know last season I spoke about toilet paper. So the one thing you're getting with this stream, probably not great insights, especially from me. Kieran will give you some good insights, but you're going to get trivia, and it's probably going to be to do with toilet-related issues. Take of that what you want. And Spritzy saying Kieran is the trivia king. Absolutely. I saw people going wild for that last week. I was tuning in from the pub, and the chat was going wild for it.
We don't even watch the racing anymore. We're just here for trivia. Toilet paper trivia.
Yeah, absolutely. And according to Goose, Entity and Giraffe and the Williams are allergic to top 10, so they might be needing some of that bog roll to blow their nose. And Inorganic saying he's banned from wishing Luke good luck. I'm wishing Luke good luck. I want to see him do well, but maybe I'll inherit the curse of the commentator there. But at the moment for Luke, even though he's 10th, he'll be hoping for more than that. I can tell you for one thing, he's going to be loving that position because his brother is 7 places behind him without a time in 17th. Sibling rivalry.
Yeah,
Oh, it's Giraffe. Sorry, is Quinn starting a lot? Giraffe just completely outbroke himself. You know, under the bridge. As you go under the stadium, sorry, he ran wide there.
Oh. I saw him taking, cutting corners, taking the fastest line. As old Zab has spun round.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a question for you in chat here, as you are the official RPM weatherman. Inorganic saying, is there any chance of rain? I don't know if you can fill us in on that one.
Well, it's looking dry throughout, but in the race, in 30 minutes into the race, there is 71% light rain.
And there we go. You heard it here first. I think I've got an older version of this telemetry because mine just says no weather settings, so I'll need to speak to Smith about that one. I might just be on an old link. So I think you're just not only the weatherman now, Kieran, you are the official telemetry weatherman. Oh, it's Quinn. Lovely 360. But not going to be lovely for his time. Yeah, Giraffe DNF'd just about a minute or so ago. So he's not going to get another look at it. So he is definitely allergic to that top 10 at the moment.
Don't know what's going on
with
Quinn and the Aston Martin.
Well, Quinn spun, so I'm guessing he's just getting out the way. Colin has invalidated, and Glassy is starting a lap in second place, so I'll go on board with this. Takes a little bit too much curve there, unsettles the car a little bit, but he's okay. And I'm sure you'll be wanting to see Glassy get some points tonight.
Oh, Luke spun now.
And that looks to be, that's in the second sector, is it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, second sector.
And I think an Aston Martin stopped somewhere on track. Not far from where Glassy's about to come through. Looks like he's moving again now. Yeah, just up ahead. I'm not sure who that is. But I think... Oh, it's the Ferrari. And who was that? That might have been Luke. Oh, and there's a Red Bull. There's cars. I'm on board this lap with Glassy, and it's just cars absolutely everywhere.
I think Aston Martin hit the wall. Is that?
Yeah, and a Mercedes pulling across there as well. And it's not been... It's been an eventful lap. Oh no, a car goes straight on in front of Glassy now. Well, he's seen it all from the second sector. Well, Zabiaka's, you can't park there. He's been disqualified for it. Another car going across. Glassy is just seeing cars everywhere.
Disqualified?
Yeah. It's just... everything's descended into absolute chaos in the last 45 seconds. As Glassy doesn't manage to improve, not surprising with all the traffic he had, but someone who did improve was Volcano, putting a 37 flat in to take second place. So Volcano puts himself back into the positions that Inorganic predicted, and it's looking very, very good for Inorganic so far. Davey, I believe, he's just... Has he improved? No, he was invalidated. And I think everyone else is in the pits. So that is our leaderboard. And everyone was just... I don't know what happened in the last 40 seconds there.
No,
everyone just seemed to... It's like the track was leaning to one side and everyone was, with gravity, falling towards the barriers. So, we've got Colin from Volcano, from Glassy, from Davey, from Andrew. Backer with a very, very good and solid 6th place. Also making it into the 37s, just. And only just being out-qualified by his teammate. Very impressive from Lost Glader. Sminotla was about 7 tenths back, and then it's very close from Sminotla back to Giraffe. And then obviously we've got some DSQs and Quinn not really putting in a meaningful lap. So are you still thinking Davey will get second place here?
I think he can. He's fourth and can easily make up 2 positions, I think.
Yeah, and it's hopefully we'll see them all get through nicely through the first corner. I think it can be, well, it's going to be hard to overtake here, so it's going to be interesting to see who can make places up at the start and how easily they can get people with pace can get up the grid if they've qualified out of position. Backer saying P6, what the hell? Well, yeah, absolutely. But we're very happy with it in the comms. And Zabiaka saying, whoops, Luke Park in second sector, had to avoid him, begin 1 second up. Yeah, I hit my wheel, so it disconnected. All I can ascertain from that is that Zabiaka had a bit of a nightmare. Any updates on the weather, though, Kieran?
And go on. No. No. I don't
So
know
it's
what's happening with my one now, but it's saying it's not giving me the data.
oh, maybe it will just be with. Well, we might find that it's just with the session not fully starting and we're waiting for players. But did you say it looked like it was going to be a dry race before? Not mistaken with
Yeah,
that, am I?
it was going to be dry until 30 minutes in, where there'll be light rain. And in 45 minutes, it's going to go back to dry. So
Oh, so it's really you've got to try and hold it out on the slicks then.
yeah,
Well, I say that after 30 minutes, I imagine the hard runners will be needing a pit stop, so it's really going to be all to play for then. If that's how it does turn out, if I imagine quite similar weather to what we had on Tuesday then. Yeah, not. It's going to be a week when we don't have possibly a single dry race. As we get ready for the formation lap here, I'll just get the tyres up. And just a mixture of strategies. We've got no gamblers tonight, Kieran.
same.
Not massively surprising though either. Soft tyres won't get you far here. I think your dad managed that, said that yesterday on the stream. And I think, was it Los Glader that was on the softs at one point? I think they went off very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, great. I went on to soft.
And I'm actually quite impressed by my memory there. Usually I can't remember from 5 minutes ago. So Colin's starting on the mediums. I had spoken to him before the race and he did say he wanted to go mediums to hards. Also, if there's an early safety car, say lap 7 around that time, it will give him the chance to switch to the hards and take him to the end. All things going to plan without safety cars and rain. The three behind him on hard tyres. But then the interesting thing here, Kieran, is going to be Andrew, Backer and Glader, all on mediums, will be pushing Davey, Glassy and Volcano very, very hard on the start with that little bit of extra grip. And they've got 4 hard runners behind them to cover them off a little bit from the other guys.
That's if Backer doesn't spin off the line.
Oh, he gets so much flack on this on the commentary, doesn't he? He's an easy target. As Colin now going through the last few corners, and he's going to be waiting a while because Zabiaka is only just coming into the third sector. Inorganic saying we could do with McLaren, Ferrari and Red Bull scoring nul points. Yeah, I could really do with Aston Martin getting a 1-2 here in a fastest lap. At the moment, they're 17th and 18th, so it's not looking too likely.
That's the first challenge.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, it's the kind of thing Big Puggy does on a Tuesday night. So Colin is still sitting there waiting. They're finally coming round the final corner now as Entity and Sminotler get bored of waiting and get disqualified. So they're going to be on extra cold tyres. And very interesting parking there from Sabiaka.
He did that in Austria as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's very interesting parking. We'll try and get a decent camera angle. We haven't got a great one, but on board there, and Volcano making a very, very nice start, and he is going to be on the inside of Colin and has to back out of it, but that's going to put him under pressure from Glassy. I see a bit of movement in the background, but not sure who's going where. And Volcano holds onto it, but clearly the mediums just firing up straight away, and Colin is dropping them already.
Already a second ahead, so...
Yeah, absolutely, and they are going to be under pressure from the guys behind. I'm noticing that Andrew's already got past Davey, so Andrew is looking to make positions up pretty quickly, and Colin is absolutely flying clear at the moment. 1.5 seconds through the first two sectors so far. And it's all very, very close back here. Backer right behind Davey as well. Davey's really struggling to get those hard tyres fired up. Backer.
Backer making contact.
Yeah. I thought he might send it down the inside into the corner. He opted to go for more of a switchback. And obviously with his better traction, running into the back of him. But Lost Glader didn't quite take advantage of it. So Backer is still in the hunt for this. And I don't know if you've got any eyes on the Volcano Glassy battle, but that's... Is Andrew closing up a lot on that? It looks like he is.
Yeah, Andrew is close. They're to the DRS train from second to fourth.
Yeah,
I think Andrew is the faster car on the mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. And he needs to get that move done early so we can get the clear air. Clear air being absolutely essential round here to really pump in your lap times. And still Backer stuck behind Davey, and Davey falling back from these guys at the moment, just not getting those hard tyres fired up. But someone who has got the tyres fired up is Colin on the mediums now, 2.8 seconds ahead. And you can just see him going around the corner there. And actually Luke up to 8th. I'm just going to take a little look at the position changes here. So Quinn up 4 places. He's had an electric start and he's got past his teammate Sinful. We do have a yellow flag in sector 2.
Dragos.
That's Dragos. Yes, I see at the back there. You're always so quick to spot it, Kieran. And Giraffe, I think, has had a moment now.
I think Giraffe's facing backwards.
And I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, there's a few cars off there.
I think Volcano's off as well.
And is Volcano off? Yeah.
I think Volcano hit the wall.
Yeah, so Volcano losing positions, and it's caused a lot of issues here, and it looks like him, I don't know if you can see on telemetry, Kieran, but to me this looks like he's got front wing damage, and he does on the left wing end plate. Oh,
yeah,
and Quinn's just hit the wall. Sorry.
Volcano did take front wing left damage. And so did Giraffe got wing damage as well.
Did Quinn pick anything up there? Because I saw him run wide where Sinful went up the inside and he hit the wall. Not sure if he's got anything there.
I don't see anything on Quinn. So, no, I don't think he has got any damage.
And I wonder if, I don't know if Glassy came together or Volcano. Oh, is he? So that's... Oh yeah, promoted Quinn. I keep missing that. I was just on him, and then as soon as they've clicked off, he's gone off. I don't know if Glassy got caught up in that, or if there was contact between Glassy or Volcano. But Andrew did get past during Volcano hitting the barrier. Maybe Volcano hit the barrier and Glassy had to ease off the throttle and Andrew just slipped by.
Yeah, Andrew will probably pull away, or try to pull away. Glassy's got DRS now, but Andrew on the medium tyres.
Yeah, and I'm just
going faster than Glassy.
Absolutely, and I was just on board with Backer, who's actually getting caught by Lost Glader at this point. Backer just looking a little bit ragged. If he just a little bit smoother, I think he's got the advantage over Davey on those tyres, which I'll switch back to now. So he just needs to get into his rhythm at the moment, and the Red Bulls could be having a very, very nice race. We got Huss. We've got quite a little train forming now behind Luke, with Sminotla, Huss, Quinn, Maggot, who's up to 11th from 17th already. So a absolutely brilliant start from the Aston Martin there, as Lost Glader picks up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, Luke is more than 3 seconds behind him, so don't think he has to worry about that now.
No, it's a very long race, and I think we might see more penalties coming in, and it's certainly chances for safety cars.
Yeah, Zab went off.
Yeah,
Volcano's now right behind him. So.
Yeah, and the rate that Colin's going, the Giraffe might be getting blue flags in a in a not too long future. Evening F1 Widow, nice to see you. I'm sure you'll be enjoying seeing Colin out in front. I will try and show you as much as I can of him. Just keeping on board with this battle at the moment, but Colin has checked out, which you'll be pleased to know about. Goose saying, if Williams get a point, I'm swimming in the Thames. Well, Entity is currently in the points in RPM. It's points for the top 15 places, so you might want to start putting your swim shorts on. And I wouldn't fancy swimming in the Thames at this time of night. It'd be very cold. So I think at the moment Back has dropped back a bit, and Glassy's going very well here, to be fair. He's on the hard tyres. Obviously Colin's checked out, but for net second place he's sticking in the DRS of Andrew. He's not getting flustered here, Glassy, and he is on, if there's no safety cars, you can potentially say he's on the better strategy here, because he can overcut. He'll get free air once Andrew pits, and he'll get the mediums at the end.
Yeah, he's doing quite well. That's obviously power of McLaren. That is. I think Glader and Backer. Glader went wide.
Yeah.
Backer kept his position.
Yeah, and Glader tried to go around the outside. I think Backer braked early, but Glader braked so late, and did well to keep it out of the barrier in the end. But he is putting some serious pressure on Backer, and Backer not quite able to get after Davey at the moment.
Apparently there's going to be rain in 15 minutes now.
Oh, we love it. And you know what that means, Kieran? We might see some gambling. We might see someone put the inters on or something a little bit different.
Yeah, we had the gambler yesterday with, I don't know how you pronounce his name, like Ruse. Yeah, for a male driver.
Oh, Roy's a Bircher, yeah, and it absolutely played into his hands. Unfortunately, the Mercs had really good, and yourself had good pace behind, but if there hadn't been a safety car, he might have well won that race from that gamble. And Inorganic saying, we love a gamble, we absolutely do, but we do not condone it on any betting apps other than Bet RPM. If you want the best odds, come to Bet RPM.
We will get paid from this.
Yeah, we've got to keep that quiet, because if Inorganic and Luke, well, if Luke gets wind of that, you know what he's like with all the hordes of money. Chat rubbish with the best of them. As Quinn actually getting past Smanotla into the corner, we saw Glader going wide at not too long ago and getting very, very close to Luke here. And we're going to see it again. It's the battle of the brothers. Mum and Dad, get ready for some shouting, some fighting. They're at it again. See Richie's in chat. Very nice to see you, Richie. I hope you're doing well. Looking good for Ferrari so far. And I know you'll be supporting the brother that is currently in 7th. And Luke actually just getting quite a nice exit there. He's had a nice, tidy second sector. But I know these two are super, super up for it when they're racing each other. And Richard's saying he's watching. Yeah, watch this one carefully. Make sure they're behaving themselves.
Quinn does seem to be out of the DRS range now. Well, seems to be getting back into it.
Yeah, and if you can just hold on to that here, that might just be able to drag him with Luke a little bit. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. That does look to be possibly...
Dragos.
And is that in a stadium section? He's just dropped that under the bridge?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had to take the run off.
Yeah, and a few drivers done that now, including Quinn running wide there. Inorganic saying, I've wondered where Kieran's been getting all this bling. We can't tell him about our sponsorships too much. It always happens on the Thursday night. That's where all the big money comes in for the sponsorships. Luke is sponsoring the stream at the moment. And Glassy, I'm just looking at the times here. I'm keeping on board with the battle of the brothers at the moment. But Glassy still sticking in there with Andrew. And it's going to come back in his favour, I think, within the next, say, 5 laps here. When we'll start to see the switch over of the tyres. I think, mediums go 14, 15?
Yeah, I think so.
Not that we've been in any position to do that so far this week with all the changeable weather.
And the safety cars for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Smanotla's dropped back from his 3 seconds. I wonder if he's had a moment. Huss right behind him as well, but Quinn and Luke very, very close. We've got a Mercedes and, yeah, Carton and Sinful have had an incident. And Luke actually really under pressure at the moment. He's on those hard tyres. Quinn trying to make most of the medium tyres, and he'll want to get past quickly. They're on a split strategy at the moment in the VDM household. But Luke, this race could very well come to him on that strategy. And he will, obviously at this point, just to mention, Glader reserve. And here we go. Quinn round the outside. I think Luke knows the best bet at the moment is just to keep his hard tyres in a window. Don't fight it too hard because Quinn's tyres will be going off much sooner than his. But these guys will both make up a position because Glader is a reserve, so he will not be classified come the end of the race. But very impressive from Glader so far, up in 6th, 9.5 seconds ahead of Quinn at the moment. And still right behind Bakker. But Bakker is now right behind Davey. He's finally caught him back up. And he seems to have got that rhythm back. Oh, and karting on soft tyres. We love it.
I don't think going to the rain.
Yeah.
And make him laugh. There is rain in 10 minutes. I'm
10 minutes. So the soft tyres will get him there. And he'll start to put in some good times. Maybe he's trying to get a fastest lap. Which again won't be classified, unfortunately, because of the reserve. And Bakker actually not taking as much curve as he could there, and puts him under a bit of pressure from Glader, but Glader a bit too far back. Bakker's got to watch doing that too often at the first corner, because you might start to pick up some warnings and then eventually some penalties. And I'm just going to move back down the road for a second because we've got Maggot and Entity. As Maggot slides it down the inside, Entity trying to fight it back round. He's sat in the DRS now, and he's very, very close. So we might have a go at him into this corner. And Inorganic saying exactly the same as you, Kieran, that karting is hoping for the rain on those softs.
I mean, can they last 10 minutes? I don't know how many laps 10 minutes is.
So, let's say, what are we doing? About 145s, I'd imagine. Probably a bit less in this division, so like 143s probably. So he's got about 6 laps, essentially.
Yeah, I think the softs can last 6 laps. They should.
Yeah, you'd think so. And we got a yellow flag in sector 3.
No, Zab.
Yeah, and Zab, I think, actually was getting lapped by Colin. And Colin, I was about to say he's lapped karting as well, but that's karting has 1 lap on his soft tyres. My mistake. Glatty now really, really starting to put the pressure on Andrew. Andrew may have to do some tyre management if he's going to see those mediums to the expected rain.
Glader's off.
And Glader...
I think Glader's span.
Yeah, and he has. So he's dropped 6.5 seconds back from Backer after that. And Quinn will be catching him then. And Glader's got to watch those tyres because those aren't going to be too happy with that as Entity picks up a 3-second penalty. I think the medium runner's going to have to do a bit of tyre management here. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at Glassy's car, and it's helpful because it's a black car, and I'm seeing some rain sliding down towards the cockpit. So,
rain sooner than expected.
Exactly. It's very light rain at the moment, so it'll take a few laps. You don't want to go too early, but if you can time it well in the changeover, go a lap earlier than the other people, the time you can make up is huge. DZ Karting now putting the intermediates on. He's gambling again.
He's going for the gamble.
As Zabiaka going from bad to worse at the moment, out in 18th for the Aston Martin driver. Inorganic saying it is raining, absolutely inorganic. We've got our hands out the commentary box window, that's how we caught up with it so quickly.
Yeah.
That's your special method, isn't it, Kieran, as the official weatherman?
That's how I do in the race. I just stick my hand out.
Yeah, well, served you well on, your last night. I was about to say on Tuesday, that was my race. On Wednesday. And DRS disabled. So this rain might be coming down heavier and quicker than it even looks on screen here. And we're starting to get people pitting, and we love it. Luke and Entity are pitting from quite good positions. They fitted the intermediate tyres, and this could be an absolute winning strategy because the other drivers are now having to go through a whole lap. And they're starting to run wide, and Backer having a huge moment. It is starting to look really quite greasy out there. And I think they've got to put the inters on, and the guys could start to lose real amounts of time. Even Colin looks like he is taking it a little bit easy here. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That might be Quinn. Yeah, it is. So he's had a moment, and they're struggling. So Luke, Huss, Maggot are right in this now, and Quinn really struggling to even get around the corner. And I can't believe quite how wet that's got in one lap.
I mean, it happened yesterday. Like, it was on the safety car restart. Then the rain came down, and immediately the lap after, we were all going in for inters.
Yeah, and Luke
pretty sure safety car came out when it happened. So.
Yeah, Luke's massively in play now. Colin, as you can imagine, is going in to the pit lane here as karting. Now, Andrew and Glassy, unfortunately, were just even further back in their lap, so they're going to lose even more time. Colin was far enough through.
Davey, something's happened to Davey.
Yeah, and he's spun. So it's
And
getting
that's
really
not
difficult for
so.
him. Smonotla's had a collision with Entity, and that's
Oh,
Entity on the
just saw
mediums.
Quinn hit the wall now. Quinn's got no wing.
Oh, and yeah, Quinn, we saw him go wide there earlier. So Quinn, luckily, he's not too far from the pits, but he's really got to watch it round here now. And this is playing massively into Luke's hands. He's going to come out so far in front of some of these guys. Back onto the Inters. They're all on the Inters. Davey and Lost Glade are just pulling into their pit lane now. So the front runner's just about getting away with it. Davey making a mistake, which has dropped him back. Quinn now going into the pit lane. But here comes Luke. He's going round the final corner now. He was about 10
Wide.
seconds. Yeah, he has run wide, but he's definitely got the grip. Well, he's got Quinn.
Well, circle.
Yeah, so he's come out where he did before, but he was about... Oh, watch that, Luke. He was about 12 seconds off, I think. So he's benefited by 9 seconds out of that early call. But if it got that wet so quickly, and I don't know if we... Did you say it was just a short period of rain?
It looks like, I don't know where. Oh, there you go. Looks like the rain will be stopping in about 30 minutes.
Oh, so it's going to carry. So we might get to wet tyres here as well. So it's not all over on strategy, and it could all get even more crazy out there. Colin now 15 seconds ahead. So these guys actually maintaining a gap. I think it was 16 at one point. So Colin clearly was struggling in the wet on those tyres a little bit and probably took it easy going into the pit lane. But these guys are battling for second as it stands. And actually, back at, yeah, with Davey having that moment, Davey looks a bit quicker at the moment, but back it up into fourth. And it's looking very, very good for the Red Bulls tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised back has lasted this long. But although in the rain now, it might cause more problems with no traction control. So it's gonna be even harder to manage your
Yeah,
throttle.
yeah, you've really got to be super careful on it, and you've got to be careful on all these curbs. And I'm getting nervous for him. The unfortunate thing is it has spread the field out a little bit. We haven't got any drivers within a second of each other apart from Glassy and Andrew. And even that is ebbing and flowing at the moment. Zabiaka pits for wet tyres. He's got nothing to lose at the moment, so he can do that. But maybe we might see Dragos or Karting. Karting, who's just loved a gamble so far tonight, we might see him do something similar.
I don't think it's gonna get to the stage of full wet. I think it's gonna stay light rain, but it's still a gamble.
See,
Gamble's a gamble.
Oh, and Glassy just had a huge moment. See, I said this on Tuesday. I put the wets on, which backfired, but then if I'd waited 4 or 5 more laps, it did get to the wet tyres. So it was really quite weird. Seems to be very unpredictable, the surface here. And I think we did have a yellow flag briefly. I don't know who that was, but... Inorganic saying teams have been told not to damage their cars. They can't afford any more costs after yesterday's race. Yeah. Well, I think Luke's commentary salary will allow him to get a few extra front wings in the bag. Please don't search how much a front wing costs, because then you'll know exactly how much Luke is paid per minute of a race.
Per minute.
I'm just absolutely feeding this vicious rumour that Luke is paid. As Colin absolutely taking off on those intermediates now, taking 2.8 seconds out of Glassy and Andrew behind, so he is just away and loving it out there at the moment. And Bakker is in a bit of his own race. Davies dropped back from a little bit. Glader, oh, and Luke has a huge moment, keeps hold of it very nicely.
I
And
saw Glassy just had a moment as well.
yeah, Glassy's had a few to be fair, but held it all together well. Maggot's pitted, so I don't know if he's had damage. Huss is actually looking very competitive at the moment. He's caught Luke up a bit on these inters, and he is going very, very nicely at the moment in the wet. So Huss looking like the wet specialist, the rain man, as Sminotler passing Maggot whilst he's sat in the pit lane. Have you got an updated prediction for us, Kieran? Because this is I mean, Davy's not too far away.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about Davy podium now. I think he could stay Colin, Andrew, Glassy, although just saw Glassy have another moment, so seems to be really struggling in the
Yeah,
rain. But I
probably
still
just getting a
think
bit trigger happy with it. I just thought Inorganic said Volcano, didn't he, for second, and Volcano had that incident in the first few laps. So
yeah,
the
who else has he
curse is
said?
still alive and kicking, at least for Volcano it is. As Luke goes in very deep there, and Huss is going to be right on him. And Luke is just really, really wrestling the car at the moment. And Huss having a look. He backs out of it, fakes it up the inside. Luke sticks with it, and Luke, getting a massive moment, but so did Huss behind him. And it's just a battle to keep it on the track for them at the moment.
How did Luke just cut the corner there?
Yeah, he lost it on the entry, and I think he opted to not try and turn too hard on the painted surface. But he's run wide again, and he's going to be under pressure. But without DRS, Huss might struggle to close it, but he's using his ERS now. And he's going to be on the inside. Sends it. He's
Switched it back.
and absolutely he has. Huss then goes to the inside, but Luke will probably try and switch that back again. We've got a yellow flag that might be a Williams.
Oh yeah, Entity's lost it on the final corner.
Yep, so that promotes Giraffe and Karting into the points positions. And yeah, it's a real struggle out there at the moment. And Will Huss has got slowed down a little bit here. He was on a bit of a charge, but Luke defended. Huss was on a bit of a charge, but Luke defended him for a little bit. But he's now going to try and get up the road and after Glader. And Bakker actually dropping Davy even more, 2.6 seconds there now. Glassy seems to have recovered a bit, 1.3 seconds behind. I'm just going to have a look on board because Quinn is in a fight with his teammate Sinful. And yeah, he does seem to have the pace advantage over Sinful at the moment. Quinn having a moment out of there. And he'll be hoping to be let through. Robin saying the Colin show is on again. The Colin show never stops, Mr. Robin. Absolutely fantastic as always. But Andrew actually matching his lap times at the moment. So Andrew's starting to find a bit of a rhythm. And Glassy also going with Andrew. But they are 19 seconds adrift at the moment as Quinn now trying to get a good exit. And he might look to make the move into the left-hander here.
I think this whole battle is helping Volcano. He's easily catching up those
Yeah, and
flags.
I can absolutely see him in the background now. And Quinn will look to the inside. Sinful goes very, very deep. And Quinn just faked it a little bit. And now he'll be on the outside. He'll be clear. Sinful finally lets him go. And he's now going to be under pressure from Volcano. And Sinful for Team Mercedes could really do with holding up Volcano here and let Quinn start getting after Luke a little bit. I see Luke has also picked up a 3-second penalty. I'm just for my own mind, I'm going to go check on board with Zabiaka to see what his grip looks like, because he's on the wet tyres here. Entity's also just pitted for the wet tyres. Yeah, and it's very understeery for Zabiaka, so it's not ready for the wets at the moment. It's going to require the rain to come down much, much heavier.
Although it does look like the rain's going to be the rain's going to be stopping soon, maybe 10 minutes.
And the question then is, how quickly does it dry out? So we're going to have another transition phase on when do you get onto the slick tyres, and how can you find a grip or the dry line. So now Volcano right on the back of Sinful here, and you can see Sinful already dropping 3 seconds to his teammates. So Quinn finally released, is able to start eating into the gap ahead at Luke, who is sticking with Huss at the moment, just 1.2 seconds behind.
Volcano seems to be getting the better exit.
Yeah, and absolutely. And he's going to fly by him before they even get to this corner here. Will Sinful fight it all? No, he picks the right option. It's a long race, and Sinful in 11th place here, and he's got an 18-second gap behind him. I think that's a sensible thing to do. He's going to get points there at the moment, and who knows what can happen. Yellow flag in Sector 2, or Sector 3.
Does Giraffe have a wing? Oh no, it does. I thought Giraffe had no wing, but because the wing's black, it was kind of hard to see.
Just lost it a little bit.
Yeah.
And Glassy's actually, I don't know, Glassy must have had a moment here, because he's dropped back quite significantly from Andrew from where he was. He was about 1.1 to 1.2 seconds behind. He's got it back a little bit, but...
Oh, Entity's retired.
So Entity, I believe that's in the pit lane.
A virtual safety car.
Is it? No, he's not in the pit
Safety
lane.
car, that's full safety car now.
Full safety car, so... And look what Zabiaka's done! Oh! And look what he's done!
Why has he done that?
I don't know, I love it though. I respect it so much. It's so... If I'm being totally honest, it's such a stupid decision. Because you can see he can't drive at 70 miles an hour on them. But I respect the gamble so much. Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very slow lap. And he's gone full rally mode. The Polish driver here, he's not doing the Kubica from F1, he's doing the Kubica from WRC, sideways everywhere. I don't think the soft tyres are ready.
Surprised he's still in it. Hasn't yet left.
I don't think he actually picked up... Oh, he's spun now. Yeah, he might have picked up damage now. Because you just can't put on the throttle.
Again, plate.
Yeah. So he's going to have to come into the pits again. Yeah. The trials and tribulations of slick tyres on a seriously wet track. That's what that is. And we'll stay on board for this and see, because we might possibly see a world record for the slowest lap time.
He's already done 2 minutes.
Entity in chat saying, red flag, the session is too wet. And if it... Yeah, that's...
I mean, for Zabi might be too wet.
Was that... I think Entity will probably try and argue. I won't get too close to his tyres. Entity might try and argue that Zab's on the wet tyres here and it is in fact too wet. If you look closely, you'll see red markings on them as he gets very close to the wall. Entity also saying, dangerous conditions, there could have been a tractor and I wouldn't have seen it. Absolutely fantastic. I think we need to review this after the race, Entity. I would take that to the steward's room. Oh, it's a very nice drift there. That might be some wing damage there, or floor damage for Zab. That car is not... I have to drive that car next Tuesday, so what's left of it. Entity saying he's submitting it to the steward. You watch it now, Kieran. Inorganic saying he is driving like me. Absolutely not true.
Inorganic penalise the Aston Martin pit crew for putting on socks.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely, it turns out to be an absolute horrible decision. Inorganic, you just need a bit of luck. as Zab correctly letting the Ferrari go, but the Ferrari letting him go again. So, I imagine Zabiak is not going to stay out with these tyres and this wing. But he's not spun for a few corners, so things are looking up. Oh, yeah, it's yeah, and he's speeding a pit lane. I think we might see a retirement here.
The Knopfler takes a 5-second.
How many laps down is he now? He must be a few laps down. He's effectively he needs 2 cars to retire to get some points, but I hope he sticks in there.
He's almost 2 minutes behind Dragos in front of him.
The funniest thing about this is it's not even like he went from wet to inters to soft. He went from wet to soft. Just like there was no in between. So, we're going to have a closed up grid. I don't know if you have any trivia for us whilst we're behind a safety car.
Oh yes, the strange and weird laws around Singapore.
And I absolutely can't wait for this section this week.
Oh,
You take it away, Kieran.
Yeah, and there's the one I told you about. You can't sing in public.
Absolutely, and the bad joke you can have from that is why is it called Singapore then?
Yeah, it's pouring as well here in Singapore.
Absolutely, it works on so many levels tonight.
You can get 3 months in jail for singing in public. You cannot connect to another individual's Wi-Fi.
Well, what about if we're down here at the Marina Bay circuit and we I guess it's not another individual's Wi-Fi. I think we're okay on that one.
Yeah, you can get a fine of 10,000 US dollars. It also carries jail time of 3 years in some cases.
So, as strict as my stewarding, I like it.
You cannot feed pigeons.
Yeah.
You have to pay 500 US dollars for doing that.
Wow, these are some hefty fines. I think the only driver I can think that can break all these laws is probably Luke.
Well, the next law is that you can't be homosexual here, so.
Well, let's hope they change their minds on that. We want everyone to have their opportunities.
I know how much you love this. Not flushing a public toilet will lead to $150 fine.
Yeah, and I love anything to do with it. Toilet papers, toilets. This is right up my alley. $150 for not flushing the toilet. Yeah, you got to say fair enough with that one.
You're also not allowed to urinate in an elevator.
I don't think they needed to put that into law. That seems to go without saying.
They have a urine detection device, and if it picks up a scent, it leads an alarm, and the doors close, and the police arrive and arrest you.
Absolutely bizarre. I mean, I don't think they need to have that technology in place unless they were having a lot of issues with this happening in the first place.
Something must have happened to make that law up.
Yeah, maybe I'm starting to think it's maybe entities done something like that because he's set out the race. I want to say he's made a mess in his pants after crashing out. So maybe that's why
the Williams garage.
Yeah, the police will be round in a second. Let's hope they haven't got a lift, an elevator in that garage. NC also saying this is the longest safety car ever. The car looks regulation size to me. And Entity also saying my 4D racing sim was making things hard. I was getting so cold and wet. Now my spare room's flooded. Fantastic stuff. 4D simulators banned in Singapore, or is there no law for that yet?
I haven't found one yet. You're not allowed to smoke in public.
Yeah, and I think that's similar to. I think Japan have something like that. They have designated areas, I believe.
You are not allowed to walk naked in your own house.
That's it's very, very, very strict place. And to be fair, I did have one. I know one bit of trivia, and I don't know if Glassy used this. I think I might have used it last season. Is that I know one thing about Singapore culture is that apparently they are the fastest pedestrians in the world, averaging around 6.8 kilometers an hour. Now, what makes this fact more impressive, Kieran, is I've not got it up in front of me. I just know that for some weird reason. And I would dare say, and I think Entity will agree with this, because he thinks it's the longest safety car in the world. I don't think he was actually on about the size of the car. I think the pedestrians might be going quicker than the cars at the moment.
Yep. Safety car is in, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Inorganic saying I've lost my Wi-Fi while I've been stuck in the and Inorganic saying, yes, it's true, Mr. Jones. I would never lie to you, Inorganic, apart from when I tell you I'm really good at F1 every Tuesday. Entity saying, apparently in Singapore you have to tie your left shoe before your right, but put your right sock on before your left. I don't know what to say about that. I'd say start focusing on your driving. Stop listening to Spin Me Around by Kylie Minogue. As Colin does launch, we'll get back to the racing. And Andrew and Glassy were very, very close on the exit there. And they're all trying to get a little bit of heat into those tyres. And it's still nothing really happening. Giraffe getting past Karting. Entity will be happy to see that one. Giraffe, the driver with the most DNF so far in Premier Division.
Maggot and Luke are battling for P11.
As Andrew goes wide and Glassy is passed. Yeah, they did see that. Maggot. So Maggot is past Giraffe, behind Luke. Volcano now getting past Sinful and right behind his teammate Quinn. And Glassy now is trying to stretch his legs and get after Colin. Davey is back in the podium hunt here for you, Kieran.
Oh, maybe it's still on. I forgot about the my prediction saying that Davey wasn't going to get back into it, and then the safety car came out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what's interesting here. I was thinking, where's Backer gone? Backer, as well as Colin, actually, as well as Volcano, they all pitted for fresh inters. A lot of these guys doing over 10 laps on them now, so that could come into play very late on here.
The rain seems to be stopping.
So if the rain does stop and it gets dry quick, that doesn't work out for Backer at all. He'll just have sacrificed pure track position. And Glassy actually gaining on Colin in this moment. So getting very nice and close. We've seen a McLaren and Ferrari fight in Premier Division before. Usually Brandon sat in that McLaren, but Glassy now taking a charge to Colin. And Andrew is really struggling at the moment. He's completely fallen away from Glassy. And there's a moment coming through the final corner. And Davey, I think Davey's got the scent of a podium now.
Yeah, he'll be attacking Andrew.
But Kieran, to me, this is going to be dry in a few laps. Because it looks a lot less wet. It just looks greasy again. Karting retires, so that's going to potentially change people's strategy, and it's a safety car.
And a safety car.
And that's a shame, because I was hoping people now have the easy decision just to put the slicks on.
Yeah,
I was hoping
And
we might see someone do it on track.
I saw Inorganic said that karting went on to mediums, so that's probably why.
And inorganic, yeah, absolutely. He is our glamorous inorganic Pinkham in the old paddock, and Utsley Butsley says gambling was too much. Yeah, it absolutely was. He's gambled his race away. For all the kids watching, don't gamble. That's what happens to you, a DNF around Singapore. And that is worse than breaking any law in Singapore, DNF in an RPM. Zabiak is saying, can you overtake Carton? Yeah, you can if he's out.
Do we have to go back to the laws?
But I don't think you can overtake... might. Zab, you can't overtake the cars, I don't think, unfortunately, as much as we'd like cars to be able to overlap... cars to be let through and unlap themselves. The car... I don't think the game allows it, to be honest, which is very annoying and unfortunate. Karting saying, oh my god, this was so stupid from me. That reminds me of the Leclerc moment in the barrier at Baku. Oh, Zab is going for the unlap. So he's not listened to me at all. Karting, I had a broken wing and didn't know what to do. No worries. And Alex Lewis, Entity, saying... Giraffe is going for the softs, as are a lot of the drivers. Colin, Andrew, Glader, Huss, Quinn, Volcano, Sinful, Smanotla all opting to stay out. But, sorry, Colin, I say Glassy. Colin, Davey back at Luke, softs, Maggot, medium, and Giraffe on the softs. And I think they've got it right. Zabiaka now serving some penalties or something. Not sure what's happened there. So now these guys can pit, but they're going to lose track position for it, as Colin has himself, because it wasn't long after a safety car, but he'll regain that track position. I'm just going to go on board with Colin. And it's definitely not like it was when Zabiaka was on the softs, but it's not ready for the softs either, but maybe it will dry up a little bit. Because the pace advantage when it dries is going to be so huge if you're stuck on the inters.
Yeah, I think if another safety car does come out after this one, everyone who's on the inters now will hit.
Yeah, and I think potentially what we're looking at here is... Well, Luke could be on for a podium, but currently I think your net podium is looking like Colin, Davey and Backer, because I think this is going to be drying very, very quickly, and you can see a dry line forming now. And it's still wet in some sections, but there is definitely a drier line. You can see, you've just got to be very, very careful on it, but they'll be behind a safety car for maybe a lap or two. So it's going to be all to play for, and it's going to be kicking off. Glassy still staying out on the inters, so is Andrew, so is Glader. They're all opting to stay out, apart from Quinn, who thinks better of it. He thinks, I'll go get myself some soft. And I think Quinn is making the right decision here, albeit a little bit too late. Yeah, Smanotla too. Any predictions in chat? Fire them in. Kieran, I'll come to you first. What does he think of this then?
I think I think as soon as the safety car comes in, it's going to be time for dries, and Colin's going to overtake everyone, and then Davey as well, and maybe even Backer. He could.
Yeah, I think. I'm surprised Maggot went for the mediums. Utsley Butsley saying that inters are gone. Yeah, I'd want to be on a softs right now. But here you can see if you get offline, it's going to be horrible. but there is a dry line coming. It looks worst in this in the first sector, and then in the second sector, I think it looks a bit drier, Kieran, on the line.
Yep, definitely interesting. Definitely on the crossover period, I think. So,
I think you're just going to have to be super careful on the throttle if you're on those slicks. Utsley Butsley saying Colin, Davey, and Backer for the podium. Entity saying too wet, Volcano with fresh inters looks good. Oh, so we've got a complete. And Utsley Butsley saying it's booty. Yeah, I did think it, but I didn't want to get it wrong. So Entity and Booty going for a complete different calls here. I'd love to hear an inorganic prediction. I just think when you're on board, though, as you come into the corners, you've got to be careful. But it's looking dry till you get to this bit, and then it's dry again, and then obviously under the stand it's dry. I don't think this is too many laps away. I think it's a gamble worth taking here.
yeah, it's definitely starting to look drier.
Because even if you have a struggle on the first lap on a soft, and then it dries up with enough of a dry line, you then have 4 laps
pitting.
to go. Yeah, they're all pitting. And there you go. And Glassy and Glade are staying out, and I really think Glassy's making a mistake here, but I think maybe he's left it too late and he just doesn't want to back out of his decision, or he's hoping that there's some rain going to come down. But through here it's looking very, very dry now. Yeah, or another safety car, exactly. So back at Davey, Colin looking in pole position here. Then we've got Maggot behind, Quinn, Sminotla, Giraffe. Luke's down in 14th. I thought Luke had pitted for softs. So not sure what happened there. I think Glassy will want to be going racing now, so we can have as many laps on the greasy surface as possible. But
but it doesn't look like there is much. Looks completely dry now.
And this is what I was saying. The rain came. This is why I thought the softs might be good. Is because the rain seemed to all of a sudden come down, and it was completely wet after a lap and a half, and it's gone completely dry. And it is completely dry here in second sector. Maybe a little bit damp in areas, but after about 2-3 laps behind a safety car. And I think Glader and Glassy have got this, unfortunately, horribly wrong here. And that will demote them all the way down to 14th should they pit. And Inorganic is saying the same thing. Glassy has made an error and will struggle. I mean, it's just looking bone dry through this sector.
Safety cars in its laps, so let's see.
Carlton saying, is this still a safety car you caused? Yes, I believe it is. So, I'll go on board with Colin, because we'll be able to see when Glassy goes from here. And I think Glassy might try and leave this as late as possible because he'll be expecting the traction of Colin.
Well, he's gone.
Yeah, and already look at that.
Penalty.
And it's a nightmare for Backer. He didn't want to be doing that, but look at Colin's exit. And to be fair, Glader's sticking it around the outside, still having a go at it, but Colin, it will be through. And Davey looks to be following him. Backer not having a start. He wanted down to 7th on those soft tyres to Quinn and Maggot getting past. Maggot actually on the medium tyres, going really well there. And he's gaining quickly on Glader. And you can see him, he's going to go round the outside there.
Penalty.
Yeah, and it
seems like everyone's getting penalties now.
Yeah, it's a real sprint, and I will just put the penalties up here for anyone who wants to see them. I don't know, has Becker had contact there? Becker might have had contact with Glader, and that's let
Yeah, he touched his
Andrew
rear tyres.
close up. Yeah, and Sminotla as well has got past. So Becker, absolutely nightmare restart when it looked like he could be on for a podium. Glassy, shame about that 3-second penalty because somehow he's held it together out in front on the intermediates, but he's 2 seconds off his best second sector. So it is completely the crossover. Those softs, I think, are just going to be too much on the next few laps. And Glassy, if he does pit, will almost certainly drop. So he might just try and firm it a little bit on these inters and try and take them as far as he can. And gets very, very close to the wall there. And I'll go on board with Colin, who gets a great exit. And you can see straight away he's going to be looking up the inside, and he'll have that move done because he'll have all the grip through the corner. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And I think Glassy's holding on to it because he's in a podium position. He's got penalties around him, which could save him with the likes of Maggott and Quinn. But you can see he's just not able to push through the corners like Davey and Colin are. Andrew could still be on for a podium here without penalties.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do some catching up because he's 2 seconds behind Spinotler, and he's a second behind Quinn, who has the penalty, and Davey going on look for a move on Glassy, but doesn't get the move done. Glassy got a much better exit than Davey. Australia's yellow flag set to 3 after that. Davey's got past Glassy now. Now Maggott's right behind him. Surprised Glassy hasn't pitted yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just realised I was on mute that whole time.
Yeah, I wondered where you were.
I was speaking the whole time, but on mute. And there goes Maggott. And as I was saying, you've got to respect Glassy for what he's done on the intermediates. He's somehow held on to them, but just making a wrong mistake on strategy is severely cost him here. He could still get some fairly decent points. Oh, as he hits the barrier now, and Quinn is going to be having a look, and Glassy's trying to fight it as much as he can. And he's run wide again, and he's under serious pressure. Quinn might send it up the inside here. Glassy covers that one off. But DRS being enabled and a soft tyres out these corners, it's going to be very, very hard to fight this. And Quinn's going to send it up the inside here. Late on the brakes, and he's through. And Quinn now trying to chase after that podium places. And I'm seeing loads of penalties.
Glassy.
Yeah, Andrew's got past Glassy now. And Davey's left the session. So Davey is off the podium, essentially.
That's all Maggott's made contact.
And that's gutting for Davey.
That's happened like 2 weeks in a row now. Happened last week in Mexico.
Absolute disaster for him.
He had that battle, his AI had that battle with Glassy.
And I think Davey could do with improving his internet, because again he was on for a cracking result here. And Bakker, he seemed to look for the move and then back out of it and then go for it again. I think he just needed to be a bit more committed there, because I don't think Glassy had the grip. And someone is round in the background. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, it's Giraffe down in 13th now, but there's 2 guys laps down, so he can still get decent points here. Well, I say decent points, he'll get points here. Inorganic saying no, as, yeah, there goes Backer now, and there goes Sminotla behind him. So Glassy is being swallowed up by the field on those intermediates. And
Yeah, Davey in the Premier chat saying his game crashed.
that's absolutely gutting for him. And Backer's now coming up to his AI. Let's hope his AI doesn't cause him too many problems. I had some issues with this, and Quinn is on the podium, correct, and he's done really well tonight, and so is Maggot. Aston Martin, yeah, Davey, I can see you in chat, absolutely good for you, mate. It's just yeah, no luck for you at all, and you played the strategy so well. Now back it up to 5th. He's going to try and get up there a bit more. I'm going to put penalties on because I'm not sure what the penalties are looking like. They're all 3 seconds back, are going in very deep. What am I doing here? So Quinn is actually gaining on Maggot, but he's got the tyre advantage. So Quinn can still get second here, and this would be huge. The All Gears or All Tiers Championship has been hugely fought between Ferrari and Mercedes at the moment, so Quinn will be looking to make up any positions he can, but Andrew is actually in the best position out of all of them with no penalties at the moment. Swinatla also could benefit from this, and Volcano is coming up behind as well. Glassy now down into 9th, just 2.4 seconds behind him is Huss, and that's so...
I just saw Davy's AI pretty much hold up Husser. No, that's annoyed Husser. Can't really.
Yeah, and especially with it being his team's car, even more frustrating. And yeah, I think Andrew is quite happy to sit here without having the penalties. He'll know he'll be getting second place. Yeah, Giraffe now down in 14th, which he'll get a couple of places back because of the reserves. And Quinn has made a huge mistake, and Quinn's gone into the barrier, and he's got no front wing. So Quinn, and he was sorted for a podium, you would have thought, and he has lost his wings, so now he's got to desperately try and get that car round. It's just a few laps left. I'm going to switch to Colin as he comes round the final corner, and he crosses the line to win the Singapore Grand Prix, followed by Maggot and Andrew, but Andrew will take that. Quinn will be desperately trying to fight Backer off. Backer nearly running into the back of him. Backer again, not quite committed enough there, and he'll lose out to Quinn. Oh, and there's cars everywhere there.
I'm not sure what's happened there.
And Luke coming across in 8th. Glassy, well, he finished 9th, but he will go down to 10th with penalties. Huss coming along in 12th, which will be 11th because of Davies' disconnection. And we're just waiting for Lost, Glader and Giraffe. And
Zab.
Yeah, and I've just seen, because of the penalties, Volcano got up to 4th. I think Backer should have pushed harder for that overtake on Quinn at the end. He knew he was going to be slow round there.
I'm not sure what just happened, but Giraffe doing donuts on the line, and after Martin pretty much just T-boned him. That was Zab.
Yeah, and he is doing donuts. He's very happy with his 14th place. And yeah, got to say, Colin brilliantly managed tonight, who's got no front wing now either, so I don't know what happened at the end. Andrew is, well, they're going to need some repairs, but he gets the podium without having penalties. Maggot also on the podium. Then we got Volcano, Sminotla, Quinn. Quinn, absolute disaster for him taking his front wing off, but Backer not able to take advantage, finishing just 2/10 behind. And then Luke in 8th. He'll be slightly disappointed. Not sure what happened to Luke, because I was sure he pitted for the softs. And then we have Sinful, Glassy, Davy, Huss, Glader, Giraffe, Dragos, and Zabiaka. So what did you make of that, Kieran?
That was fun. I'm just watching Giraffe trying to get back on track. Still just doing donuts. around. I think he's managed to get it, but that was good. Uh, Good race. No, Davey had the crash, uh, which is really disappointing from him. We have a look in the championship live standings.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I know Glassy didn't get to finish and he got a strategy wrong, but he's one of the drivers that I thought was brilliant tonight. Colin, I thought definitely a nominee for driver of the week, absolutely fantastic. And also Maggot from 17th to 3rd, unbelievable round Singapore.
Yeah, I remember that guy saying if Williams get points, he'll swim in the River Thames.
And he's going to have to, yeah. So we'll have to get the boats out just in case.
Yeah.
And I'll see if we can get anyone in for an interview.
Uh,
Right, and I've invited the guys, we'll see, and we do have someone, Kieran. We've got Colin, race winner. Absolutely amazing performance, Colin. Um, I've got one embarrassing fact for you here, looking at the leaderboard here.
What's that?
Um,
I never got fastest lap.
no, I think 62 minutes was longer than the time it took me to finish, but I do think you had about three more safety cars. We've all been thinking it. When are we going to be racing together? Um, Fantastic race today. Just absolutely bossed it. How did you find it with the changeable conditions, though?
That was horrible. I thought I'd got it wrong when I went in for the softs because the first lap behind the safety car, I nearly hit the wall 3 or 4 times. But the track dried up stupidly quick. I mean, within half a lap, it was bone dry.
Yeah, I mean, I said that to Kieran. I said when it went wet, it got wet super quick. So I kind of thought maybe it'll get dry really quick. And
That
I,
was my thinking.
yeah, I thought you'd picked it right. I was kind of surprised Glassy didn't pit when everyone else did onto the softs.
I thought he
Um,
was just going to follow exactly what I'd done. I was surprised myself.
yeah, and I mean, it all kicked off behind you at the end there as well. Quinn was on the podium, he took his wing off. So even then, when you were on those final laps, did you have to be careful after safety car restart for the first lap?
No,
It was offline, or
I
was
was
it?
actually, I have to apologise to Davey actually. I took it too easy. He nearly ran up the back of me a couple of times. Honestly, it was crazy. It went from zero grip to completely dry, like a time trial lap you could do no problem. And I was just way too cautious on the restart, and I feel bad for Davey because he took a void in action a couple of times.
Yeah, and it looked to be tough conditions in a sense that it looked like it was tough on the intermediates, like it was almost not quite ready for wets, but a little bit too wet for inters almost. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
after that safety car, bone dry.
yeah, that was crazy. I've never experienced that before.
Yeah, we got to watch the trials and tribulations of Zab, who was the first person to pit to softs, albeit about 5 laps early on a wet track, which didn't go well. No, we thought you were unbelievable tonight. You got the fastest. You did get the fastest lap, did you?
No, Andrew took it.
Andrew got it. So Andrew having a very good performance tonight on the podium.
Yeah.
In second place for fastest lap, but you got the pole position, dominant from the start. And I guess what you were thinking early, you had some guys behind on hards, was just get
I
clear in
have
those
no
first
idea
few
why they
corners.
done that. No, it said the rain was coming in 20 minutes, and simple maths meant that was lap 10 on mediums, like lap 10 to 12 on mediums. I don't understand why so many people started on the hard tires. And then you could do medium, enter medium, or soft, whatever it was going to turn out. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, and well, I think you said that, didn't you, Kieran? You are our official weatherman in the commentary box.
Yeah, the rain was meant to come in like 10 minutes after the rain actually did come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was yeah, we were guessing a little bit at times because we were on board with glassing, and all of a sudden started seeing streaks of rain when it said it was.
Jeff was guessing as well, don't worry about it. Every 10 minutes he was telling me it was 10 minutes till the rain.
Jeff told me when we put the full wets on the other day, it stopped raining. Get
Yeah.
you come in and get your slicks on.
All of a
um,
sudden he had the cheek to go, oh, you might be a bit slippy now. Ah, you kidding?
yeah, you could never trust Jeff. No, but congratulations tonight, extending that championship lead. But I think I said to Kieran, my one of my driver of the week nominees is definitely going to be you because it was just an almighty performance in tricky conditions, especially changeable conditions.
Yeah,
You
I
got any
done no
drive?
wet laps.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to be 3 wet races in 1 week. But I was going to say, have you got any drivers that you think performed really well tonight?
See, Andrew is always, I know his race pace, it always outweighs his qualifying pace. I look at his qualifying pace and I go, I've got this in the bag. And then all of a sudden he's only 2, 3 tenths a lap off me. He
Yeah,
always puts me under that pressure. And Davey as well. Honestly, if he had got past me, I don't think I would have caught him. I have to thank Glassy for holding him up on the enters.
yeah, and yeah, it was.
So Davey and Andrew, I would say they impressed me tonight.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate for Davey. He had a disconnect later on, so I think with
I
two
know,
laps
and
to
the
go.
unsportsmanship, I actually done a wee mini celebration because I was panicking. I shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Oh, is that with the car for the line? Well, that makes sense now. We were getting a bit confused, right? We just saw cars going everywhere. Um, we no, and I thought, well, Maga also coming up from 17th to third bided his time, and he's now sitting in second. Well, he's still sitting in
He's
second, but
still second. I'm amazed at that. He's shown that consistency will get you up in the league.
yeah, and he's just really going about his business. And Andrew, I think, yeah, deserved podium stays. Had a bit of bad luck.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, well, that's all I've got to say, really, Colin. But really well done again.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'll coach you ready for Monza next week. So
Not a
pen,
problem. I'm looking
pencil
forward
it
to it.
in.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much, and congratulations on your win. And Kieran, you got anything to sum up tonight?
Um, it was it was good race, and we learned a lot more about Singapore. I bet
Um,
Colin didn't know that lifts in um lifts lifts in Singapore have a urine detection device, and
Ah,
it's
yeah, I thought you were going to tell me they had a toilet roll dispenser or something inside them.
yeah,
That's what I was waiting on there.
you know our usual trivia. It's always
Yeah.
based around toilets. Yeah, I think it was a good race tonight, and yeah, thank you to you, Kieran, for joining me on comms, and thank you for giving us a great race to watch, Colin. And
No
thank
problem.
you.
Cheers, guys.
No worries, mate. Thank you, and thank you to everyone who came to watch. And we will see you next week for a sprint race in Monza. It will be Kieran and Inorganic. And Kieran, I'll let you say goodbye and good night, as you'll be the one leading comms next week.
yep, I will. It'll be me and Inorganic on comms next week. Are you going to be doing Wednesday like we did last week, or?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing any of them. I'm not even racing next week. I'm away all week. But
That's a
we
shame.
have the highest paid commentator in the world on Wednesday anyway, and two very capable commentators in yourself and Inorganic for Thursday. So I'm sure everyone will be happy with that.
Yep. I'll be racing Wednesday, so if you wanna, what, if you wanna watch me race, um, on Wednesday, and then that's it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Kieran. I'll be tuning in next Wednesday to see you hopefully go one better and get the podium. And thank you, everybody. Goodbye and good night. Have a lovely week.